Hello.
Madam.
Yes, good afternoon.
Madam, please, last time we had this one for the nutrition, and then you said that if we have management living, we'll do for nutrition.
Yes. A quick recap. We are behind time. Let's just finish with the first aid. Hello, Amanda. Amanda is off again. Amanda is off. I hope you saw the assignment. Hello.
Yes,
Yes.
madam.
Okay.
Yes.
So, what can you remember from the previous lesson? Quickly, before we move on to first aid. Yes, Ruth.
We did safety in the home.
Okay. And what else?
And the process where both take precautions and appropriate measures to prevent accidents in the home.
Okay. And can we remember some of the ways of ensuring safety in the home? Can you now see the slides?
Yes.
Okay. So ways of ensuring safety in the home, as we said the other time, we said you should keep sharp objects where they are supposed to be at the appropriate places. And then we also said you should wash sharp objects separately. The definition, you just gave it. And then causes of accidents. Some of the accidents we spoke about, burns, and we said burns are caused by dry heat. They are caused by dry heat when the body comes into contact with dry heat, such as hot metals, electric currents, in exposed electric wires. Now, we also looked at how we can prevent burns. We said that you shouldn't use your bare hands in cooking hot items on the fire and other things. And we also spoke about scalds, and we said the scalds are basically caused by moist heat. When hot liquid pours on you, and also went further to look at how to prevent scalds. We said we should handle hot pans containing hot liquid with care, and we should also turn the handles away from people passing. And then we looked at chemical poisoning, and we said that is accidentally taking in harmful pills, drugs, pesticide, etc. And we looked at the prevention. Some of the few things we said was that we should keep harmful substances out of reach of children, and then all harmful substances should be well labeled. Then we spoke about electric shock or electrocution, and we gave some of the causes as touching live wires and then using faulty appliances, and also using wet hands on electrical appliances. And we came to prevention, how to prevent electric shock. And we said you should always wear a rubber-soled footwear when you are handling electrical appliances. And we also said that we have to watch children so that they don't push metallic substances into electrical sockets. We went further by looking at choking or choking accidentally, and we gave some of the causes as eating hurriedly and then swallowing hard or big objects. And we said when food or liquid goes down the wrong way into our system, that can also cause choking. And with the prevention, we said we should avoid eating hurriedly or talking whilst eating. Now, we also looked at suffocation. Also looked at suffocation, and we said preventing, how you can prevent the suffocation is that you must advise children against covering their heads with plastic bags. And then you should watch children when they are playing hide and seek. Then we looked at cuts and burns. We also said they result from when the skin is torn or punctured by a sharp object like knives, blades, broken glasses, etc. And we also said for bruises, they occur when the body is given a sufficient force, and the blow may be applied directly or indirectly with the force in which the body strikes against. Then the prevention, we said we should keep sharp instruments out of reach of children. And we also went further by looking at falls. And I know you can remember all this. Now, one other accident we didn't talk about is radiation hazards. Radiation hazards. What can you tell me about radiation hazards? Do you know anything about that?
No, madam.
That's basic. Michael, you want to say something? Hello, Michael. Hello, Michael. Hello, Michael. Can you hear me?
Madam, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Said one other accident that we didn't talk about last time is radiation hazard, and it's another area of risks in the home that has to do with magnetic radiation and mostly microwaves. They will be harmful if only when the oven produces that harm. But when the door is open, the microwave is off, is safe. That is the reason why anytime you are working with a microwave oven, it's advisable that it's always closed. And he said a distance of about 4 to 5 meters, the X-ray will be absorbed in the air. So viewers who are closer to the screen will, like TV, when you are watching TV, you don't have to be so close to the television set. At least you should be 4 or 5 meters away so that you don't absorb so much of the X-rays, which will be harmful to your body, and this can cause skin cancer for a prolonged period. So do you have any question on the radiation hazard before we looked at first aid?
No, madam.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Now, first of all, what is first aid?
First aid is the immediate treatment given to an injured person before competent help arrives or before a professional attends to the injured person.
Okay. So it is, just as you have said, it is the immediate treatment. Can you still see the slides? Hello?
Yes, madam.
Okay. The
Yes.
immediate
Yes.
treatment that is given to an injured person before the arrival of a health expert or a doctor or whoever will do that. Now, why do we give first aid? Why do we give first aid? One, we can say that first aid is given to relieve pain. See, the person is injured, is in pain, so you give the first aid in order to relieve pain. Again, when some accidents occur, there may be bleeding, so you give first aid to stop the bleeding. You give first aid to stop the bleeding, and also you prevent open wound from becoming infected, because when the wound is open, anything at all can enter and then infect the wound. Now, aims of first aid. Aim: we give first aid in order to save life. Remember, with the objectives, we said that first aid is given to stop bleeding. People can bleed to death. So if you give the first aid, that will help save life. Again, you prevent further injury. For instance, with the open wound, we just said you have to prevent it from being infected. You have to ensure that the wound is covered so that no other thing will enter to affect the person who is already suffering. Then again, you relieve pain, you stop bleeding, you reassure the victim by making the victim comfortable and keeping him calm until the appropriate help arises. Now, sometimes the way you even talk to an injured person will either increase the pain or decrease the pain. For instance, when somebody is injured and then you get to an accident scene and you just stand there and you are saying, hey, this is very serious. Hey, if you don't take care, you will die. No, when you say such words, it demoralizes the person. So it is important that as a person giving first aid, you have to reassure the victim. Now let's look at some steps you have to take in carrying out first aid. Can you just think about something apart from what you see in the slides here? Hello?
Madam,
Yes.
Hi.
you have to make sure you are not in excessive haste. You have to be careful.
Okay. Ruth, can you add something?
Madam, please, I didn't get the question.
What I'm saying is that assume that you are going to give first aid to an injured person. What steps will you take as the first aider?
Madam, you should check where the person is hurt.
Okay. Okay, that's very important.
You should check the part of the body that the person is hurt or the part of the body that is paining the person.
Okay. So that will inform you of the
Madam,
right.
you have to make sure there's proper ventilation too.
Yes. So when you take all these things into consideration, it will help you
And
identify.
madam, you shouldn't move the person.
Yeah. It will help you identify the right first aid to be given to the victim. So we are saying that, first of all, when you are carrying out first aid, you, the person doing that, you must be intelligent enough, and then you must use simple materials for the treatment in order to stop further damages. You are just giving first aid. You are not a doctor or a nurse. So you have to make sure that you just use simple materials that will not cause further damage to the injured person. And also, like you said, you need to control the situation. Your duty as a first aider is not to give a complete healing. but you are doing something that will prevent further injury. You are doing something that will stop bleeding. So, like I said, you check and then you observe whether there are cuts, wounds, bleeding, swelling before you know the type of first aid to apply. Now, when you want to attend to a victim and then you are in haste, you didn't check for all this. You, in your mind, you want to help restore the person back to normal, but you end up contracting diseases because you didn't take some safety precautions into order. For instance, somebody is having a cut. You also have a sore. You didn't know. You didn't know the person is having a cut. You didn't check for all that. And the person happens to be HIV positive. After you are done treating the person, you also end up contracting, yes, you end up contracting the disease because your sore, which is open, have come into contact with the person's blood unknowingly. So yes, you want to save a life, but you have to be cautious. You also have to check for broken bones. Ruth, you made mention that you must not move the person unnecessarily. For instance, if the person is having a broken bone and you didn't check,
Yeah.
and you are just moving the person anyhow, you will rather increase the pain of the person you are trying to help. So you don't move the patient unnecessarily, but rather you let him lie down and you keep him warm. Now, can we mention some of the basic items we can find in a first aid box?
Cotton
Madam
wool,
Spirit,
Okay.
plaster,
Uh-huh.
gentian
scissors.
violet,
Okay.
detergent.
Yeah. But you know, all these things have their uses. Ruth, you mentioned spirit, ventilated spirit.
Yes,
I learned some time ago that you see, normally we pour the ventilated spirit into the soil, but that is not what it's supposed to do. Either the ventilated spirit or the hydrogen peroxide is supposed to be used to clean the wound, because it is said that when you pour it directly into the wound, being it spirit or hydrogen peroxide, you realize it will be foamy, as if something is boiling on fire. When you
Yes.
do that, you are killing the body cells. So the work of the spirit or the hydrogen peroxide is to clean the wound from any contamination.
Then,
And
madam, what about some of us who use the hydrogen peroxide to brush our teeth?
well, that is in that way you are not using it for first aid. Well, some people have toothache and they still use it. Do you get
Yeah.
me? For toothaches. So that one,
Mm.
you are not going to swallow it, but you will just sip it and then keep it at the part that you are feeling the pain for some time. Then other things you can find in the first aid box, we can talk about bicarbonate of soda. Then the gentian violet, of course, you can apply it in a fresh cut after you are done cleaning it. Now we are going to look at some first aid methods. First aid methods in some common accidents in the home. Then how these first aids can be treated. Bruises and cuts. Bruises and cuts. Excuse me. Bruises and cuts. How do you think we can treat bruises and cuts? I need your opinion first before we look at what we have in the slide. Hello, Ruth.
Madam.
Yes.
This is not clear.
Hello.
Madam.
Madam, this it's not sounding clearly.
Sorry, you didn't hear me clearly. Hello.
Yes,
Is it better now?
Hi.
yes, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. I'm asking, can you give some few ways we can give first aid when somebody is having a cut or a bruise? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
First, you have to wash your hands before how do I say it? Cleaning the wound by using a methylated spirit to clean the opening
Okay.
to avoid infection, further infection.
Okay. Now you can also use salty water to wash the wound. In a case where you don't have the spirit, you can use salty water to wash it. Now, these cuts, when you are treating it, you look at how deep or shallow the cut is. Now, if the cut is deep, you have to raise the affected part of the body. If possible, let's say if it's the hand, you raise the hand up. When you raise it up, you have applied some force. And this will help the blood to gradually stop bleeding. So when you raise the part of the body, you apply a pad of gauze or clean cloth, preferably white, and then you press it firmly to prevent or stop the bleeding. So for instance, it is the hand, you raise it, and then when you use the white cloth or the gauze, you press it firmly for about 4 to 5 minutes. It will help stop the bleeding. Then you can bandage and send for a doctor, or you take the victim to the hospital. Is that clear, or I should go over it?
It's clear.
Clear.
Okay. So anytime somebody is involved in an accident, which is a cut, first of all, you raise the affected part up, clean it, and then you apply a gauze or a white cloth. Then you press it for about 5 minutes, and it will stop the bleeding. If it's a deep cut, you bandage it and then you send the person to hospital. Now, what about swollen wounds? Swollen wounds. For swollen wounds, you apply cold water or ice cubes to relieve pain and swelling. Sometimes you are running and then you hit your leg against something, or you fell down and you had a bruise. There is no cut, but the place is swollen. What you have to do is you use cold water or ice cubes to relieve the pain. I don't know if you have ever experienced this. You go to the hospital, you are given an injection, and all of a sudden, the part of the body that was injected started swelling, got swollen. Normally, what they will do is they will put ice pad on the swell, and this will help reduce pain and then bring the swelling down. And after you are done with that, you apply some liniment gently. You apply the liniment to it. Okay. Another accident that we can give a first aid is electric shock. Electric shock. Like we learned last week, electric shock can occur through accidents or, shock. This is just shock, not electric shock. Somebody can have a shock through accident or upon hearing a bad news. So the person will exhibit the following symptoms. The skin is cold, and then the heartbeat will be very rapid. He or she becomes weak and restless, and then breathing is shallow. Now, what are some of these shock people receive? You are just there, and then you heard a family member involved in an accident. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Ruth.
Madam,
Nkale di dileme. You are just there, and then you got an information, a relative or a friend is involved in an accident. The shock alone can make you faint. Do you know that?
yes.
Yes.
And when people get this kind of shocks, their heart will beat very faster. Some will become weak and restless, or the death of a loved one. It can also cause a shock. Now, when somebody is in such a situation, how are you going to give a first aid? Can you try?
Madam, please, I didn't get the question.
I'm saying that when somebody is shocked upon hearing a bad news or through an accident, what kind of first aid can you give to help the person before the arrival of a medical officer?
To make sure that now I'm just trying
Oh yeah,
to make
try.
sure that how to make sure that the person like people are not gathered around the person. The person has to have enough oxygen, and then
Okay.
in case the person is wearing tight clothes, you losing the clothes a little. If it's batting, you losing some of the battings, so the person can breathe well. And then that's all I can think of.
Okay.
Madam, since they said the breathing is shallow, so you raise the person's leg to allow the blood to flow from to the heart and the brain.
Okay. Okay, that's good. And we also said that the person becomes cold. So it is important that at least you watch what the person is wearing. Like Michael said, the clothes shouldn't be tight on the person, but you cover the person with a cloth to keep the person warm. Okay. And then if you realize the situation is so severe, you have to transport the person to a hospital. But as you are on the way to the hospital, you need the person will lose fluid. So constantly, you need to be giving the person water to drink in order to replenish any fluid lost in the body. Any question on shock?
No.
Okay. Then now electric shock. Electric shock. Electric shock also occurs when electric current passes through the human body when he or she is still in contact with the source of electricity, or unpleasant tingling sensation, severe burns, paralysis of breathing, and stopping of heartbeat may occur. Electric shock is very severe, very, very. If you have ever seen somebody who have received electric shock is very sad. They become stiff all of a sudden. That is a severe one. Those that die too, you see the body becoming very dark. If somebody dies of electric
And those smell like barbecue.
yes. It's very it's not a good thing to watch. Yeah. So what is the first aid we can give? Remember, in the event of electric shock, the first thing you have to do is start.
Use a dry wood to hit the person.
Somebody's background is noisy. Is it Michael? Hello, Michael.
Yes, so madam, I'm leaving that place. Madam, your battery ran down in another minute.
So you want to go and be charging it. Okay, so the first thing you do is you have to shut off the source of current and you remove the person from contact. So the main electric switch, the main switch in the home, you have to put it off. But again, you, the person doing that, you have to be careful. Ruth, can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Michael is still working about. Hello, Michael.
Yeah, madam, I'm almost there.
Okay.
Madam, I can hear you.
All right. So as you are going to turn the main switch off, make sure your hands are dried and you are putting on a footwear that is well insulated, at least a plastic footwear. That will help. And then the rescuer should be well insulated, okay, by standing on a dry wood or rubber mat, like I just said. And then you wear covered clothing with layers of dry clothing. Then, how do you separate the person in shock? How do you separate that person from the source of contact?
Madam, you use
Madam,
a
you use
dry
a dry wood.
to hit.
Why do you use a dry wood and not metal?
Because it's a poor conductor of heating electricity.
Okay. But you don't hit the person so hard. At that point, no matter how hard the strokes are, the person will feel it instantly. After the person is relieved from the shock, that is when the person will feel the pain. But at least he or she will thank you for saving his or her life. And if the person is not breathing, they are saying you should give artificial respiration at once. And when he or she starts breathing, you keep him in a quiet position to avoid causing permanent total damage till help comes. But let me just check your thought on this. With today's COVID-19 that is acquired through droplets, will you be comfortable, Ruth, to give artificial respiration to somebody by giving the person mouth to mouth this thing? You put your
Madam, no. No.
Because you endanger your life. So I think the best will be the lungs. Use your hand, even that one too may be dangerous, but hey, at least you know it's your hands. When you wash your hands very well and you finish, you wash again and you sanitize. So you press.
But I'm not only washing, no, you bath.
Because it's true. If not, you are trying to restore somebody's health, and then in the process, you end up contracting another disease. The next one will be nose bleeding. Nose bleeding. Have you ever come into somebody who whose nose is bleeding before?
No.
And you've
No.
also not experienced before.
No.
No.
Nose bleeding is also another, I will not really say accident. There are people that have that kind of condition. Sometimes accident can cause it. Others too is not accident. They are just there and then blood will be coming out of their nostrils due to some symptoms or something. Now, when somebody is having a nose bleeding, what you have to do is you let the person sit down. This is actually practical. You hold the head backwards and then the nose. Use the hand to hold it firmly and you put ice cubes on the bridge of the nose. You see, this place is like the bridge. You put it there and you press it hard. So the person will not breathe through the nose, but rather will breathe through the mouth. And when the person does that continuously, what will happen is that the blood that is flowing all will clot because of the ice. It will make the blood clot in the nostrils. So when the blood clots in the nostrils, the person is not supposed to force it out by blowing the nose instantly because it will be painful. But when you allow it for some time, it will come out on its own. But in a situation where you did that and then the bleeding just reduces, you have to make sure you send the person to a qualified medical practitioner or a doctor, or you send the person to the hospital for further examination and treatment. Any question on the nose bleeding?
Madam, no.
Okay. Now the next one is broken bones. Sorry. Broken bones. Normally, especially like those who are into sports, you are just playing on the ball and on the football field, you are playing football, and then you fall down and there's a broken bone. As for that one, is very painful, very, very painful. So for that, you just calm the person down and then you send for a medical person to attend to the person, or you rush the person to hospital. You don't have to waste time at all. But what you can do to help is you wash the wound thoroughly and then you allow water to flow. Sorry, you just, for the broken bone, you just send the person to the hospital. I was mixing that with a dog bite. Because a broken bone, there is nothing you can really do. If it is dislocation, that is when you say you can give a massage. But for the broken bone, just let the person be in a stable condition and you convey the person to a hospital, or if there's a doctor nearby, you invite the doctor. That is about the broken.
And madam, when there is a delay, would something happen to the person?
Sometimes what will happen is the wound will not heal quick. It will take a long time before the wound can heal, or it may not heal at all. You see, some people will have these problems and then they will be managing it on their own gradually. They don't know whether it's dislocation or broken bone. And if it is too late and then doctors cannot do anything, what the best they can do is to amputate it, meaning you will be given artificial leg. I'm sure you've seen some people with that condition.
Yes.
Not,
Yes.
not that they were born with it, but through accidents they got broken bone and then it led to this artificial legs. Then dog bite. Dog bite. Dog bite is also another type of accident. When you are bitten by a dog or somebody is bitten by a dog, what you have to do is you wash the wound thoroughly, allowing water to flow over to wash away the dog's saliva. Just as we said with this COVID, we should use enough water, running water, the same way. The place that the dog has bitten must be washed with running water to wash away the dog's saliva. You know, dogs can give rabies. So that is the reason why you have to immediately wash the saliva of the dog, because the disease is in the saliva. And you wash it with antiseptic. An example is Dettol. You can give other examples. Camel. What else? Ghetto. All these are antiseptics. So when you wash it with the antiseptic, you bandage with a clean cloth. Or if you can get gauze, you know gauze. Hello.
Yes.
So you can also use gauze. Then you send the person to a doctor who will decide whether an anti-rabies injection is necessary. So for you as a first aider, all you need to do is to ensure that you have washed the dog's saliva away and you used an antiseptic, either Camel, Dettol, Gettol, any antiseptic at all, in washing it. Then you bandage it and send the person to the doctor. It is the doctor who will examine and know whether that person needs anti-rabies injection or whatever. Any question on that, on a dog's bite?
Madam, is it true that when you have rabies, you'll be barking?
That is what people. Honestly, I have not seen any human being barking before, so I don't really know. But I learned rabies have some bad impacts. Rabies has some bad impact on the individual. Then snake bite. Snake bite. Snake bite. When somebody is bitten by a snake, what do you do? Any idea?
Yes, madam. You tie when it's the leg, you tie a place above where the person was bitten to avoid the poison from reaching the heart.
So you tie both above and below. It's not just above, both above and below, with a clean cloth to prevent the poison. That's the venom around it where the bite, so that you can work on that. Now, there used to be a special stone. I don't know if you have. Yes. Hello, Michael.
Please, I also heard that you can this one you can let the person keep this one the feet below the heart level without even using anything on it. You just let the person sit down and keep the feet below the heart level so that
Oh,
this one, the poison cannot move fast.
oh, okay. But the person is in pain. There are some people who may not be able to withstand that. So I think the best way will be to tie. But if the person can sit like the way you are saying to, I think that is also not bad. So yes, when you are done with that, tying the cloth above and below where the bite.
Madam, please, I have a question.
Okay.
Madam, is it good to suck the venom out?
Our grandparents have been doing that. They say if they don't suck it, especially if it's a child, it will rush down. But that is also dangerous. So you don't know where the snake is coming from. And you are sucking this into your mouth. Now our grandparents, they did things. Just suck everything, pour it out and wash their mouth. But the best is to tie it. That is the best way.
Okay.
Then this black stone I'm talking of, I don't know if you have heard about it before.
Yes.
With the black stone, after you have tied the place, they will use blade to make small marks on the affected part where the skin was actually beaten. Then they will put the black stone on it. It will get stuck. So when the black stone absorbs all the poison, it will fall on its own. And when it falls, you are not supposed to use your bare hands to pick the black stone, but rather you pour milk on it, and the milk will strengthen the stone again. If you cannot afford milk and you can get access to coconut water, the water in coconut, you pour it on it, you see it becoming foamy. That shows that that poison has been washed away, and it can be used another time somebody is having that problem. The next one is human bite. Some people are just fighting and then they will bite each other. That one too,
Mm.
you wash the wound.
And madam, in
Yes.
the snake bite, we were taught in biology that you
Okay.
can use a toad, like the belly of the toad,
Mm.
to brush the affected area in the poison.
Hey, he didn't say
I don't know
snake
why.
bite too. He said scorpion sting.
Mm.
Scorpion rather.
Okay, and what is the significance? Even the scorpion to the black stone can do that. What is the significance of the toad's whatever? What does it contain that will help take away the poison of the scorpion?
Mm. And Ruth,
Madam,
madam
please,
is
I can't
asking
hear you
you.
clearly.
I'm asking that what is the significance in using the toad like you are saying? What does the toad do? What does it do to the affected area?
Madam, he said that it's something that he discovered. So like when you use this one, the belly of the stomach to rub it in one direction, and then you
Okay.
realize that the
Yes,
belly becomes pink,
red.
like it will change color.
A live
Then
one.
it means that
Yes.
yes.
Wow. Okay, I get you now. Then there must be a scientific base to that. Okay, yeah, with a human bite, we are saying you wash the wound thoroughly with an antiseptic lotion, like we said for the uh, others. Then you send the person to a hospital or a doctor. So the doctor will again uh, identify the problem and see if there's the need for an anti-tetanus injection for the human bite. But locally, they will say a lot of things that you send the person to a blacksmith and they will do what. But that
Madam, they said if you even wrap the physics of a fowl on it, the person's teeth will do something.
but this is what our syllabus is allowing us. Those ones are local. Then insects bite and stings. An insect like bee. Have you ever seen somebody bitten by bees before? Bee.
Yes.
Yes, I'm even myself.
Especially if it's your eye. See
Hmm.
how it
Hey.
becomes swollen. Mm,
Yes.
yeah. So that one too, if you can have a way of removing the sting, fine. Sometimes if it is just an ant, you press the bitten area, a whitish substance will come out that will relieve the pain a bit. But as for bees, if they are in group and they beat you, how do you do that?
Hmm.
How do you do that?
Hmm.
Just
Madam, you don't do anything, though.
very painful. I said when bees, wasps, and ants, they will leave that area very swollen. So you have to wash the area with salt, and that can help take the sting from the flesh. And they are saying it's very painful. And then stings from a swarm, they are very dangerous and they may cause swelling. And because of this swelling, it can lead to shock. So when the person is shocked out of that, the way you treat any other shock, like an accident, you apply that first aid too. Any question on the insect bites?
Madam, no.
Okay,
No.
then the last thing will be foreign body in the ear. Foreign body in the ear. Sometimes you just be there and you feel something is moving in your ears. Then you pick this cotton bud. Something is moving in your ear. You pick cotton bud. You want to remove it, and then the cotton bud rather that you want to use to help remove that thing gets stuck in your ear. What do you do?
Madam, go to the hospital.
They charge for it. If you go to the hospital, they will tell you you are not supposed to put any hard substance. You are not supposed to put anything in the ear at all, because they say that the ear itself have a way of cleansing itself, so you don't need to put anything inside. But as human as we are, sometimes you feel that something is moving there. So when foreign bodies enter the ear, it's important that they said if it is an insect, I've not tried this though, but that's what your syllabus is saying. You pour warm coconut oil into the ear, and then it will pass through the other side. For instance, if it is the left ear, you turn the ear upside down like this, you pour it in, and then it will come out through the other one.
Madam, what if you don't have coconut oil? Can't you use another thing?
They said you can also use custard oil, but I think if you have even olive oil, you can use it, and it will make the oil in the it will make the substance in the ear float out. It will make it float out.
Madam, why did you say oil only? Why is it all oil? Why didn't you say water?
Traditionally, I know people say water, but in fact, I have not tried it. They will say you should drop small water into your other ear, and then you turn it upside down to come out. But I am always afraid to try it, because my question is, what if you do and it doesn't come out? but you know there's a hole in the ear that links the other one.
Yes. Because, madam, when water enters your ear, it will surely come out.
Yes. That's the reason why if you use a towel or anything, it's able to pick it. So basically, this is the end of our topic on kitchen safety. No, safety in the home, and then common accidents that occur, and first aid and some treatments. If you have any question or questions, you are free to ask. Any question?
No.
No.
Question. So we'll meet on Wednesday for food and nutrition. No, Thursday, right? Hello.
Yes. And madam, when are we going to submit the management in living home when?
It's tomorrow.
Today.
Oh, it's Tuesday.
Which time?
The date I gave is Tuesday. Oh. It should be in the evening because you'll be occupied throughout the day. So
Yeah. Okay.
and then keep talking to your colleagues who have not joined yet. But so far,
Okay.
Madam, patient has joined, though, but I don't know why she doesn't come to the management living
I
class.
don't know. I saw.
She said it is on network.
Okay, okay,
Ah.
okay. I'm sure few people, some more will be joining later on.
Madam, you owe us practical.
Yes, so see the week we were supposed to do it, that was when this whole thing. I don't know how I can handle a practical class in this situation because for practicals, the best way
We'll all be cooking in our kitchen.
and how do I check, especially with the icing? For the other things, we can easily do it, but icing, if there's any mistake, how do I hold it and direct? So let's all pray this COVID leave us. And then when we are able to cover a lot more theory, when we come, God's willing, when we are able to come, practicals can be continuous on weekly basis so that all the topics we couldn't treat practically, we handle that. Well, I think so far, so good. We are done with one topic, and the next topic in management will be income. Income, right? Hello,
Okay.
it's income. So we prepare on
Hi.
also.
Hi.
Okay, there are no questions. Then I wish you all the best of the day, the rest of the evening.